back, relax, and maybe get yourself a snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hey guys! So I'm here today to do a book review of a non-fiction book I recently read as part of Diversathon that I loved. And if you've watched my Diversathon vlog, you can probably guess what this book is, because I raved about it for a good 5 minutes, I think. And I was crying, and I was all emotional. And the book is I Am Malala, which is by Malala Yousafzai. I had emotions with this book. I often find that memoirs are books that really can move me emotionally, make me cry, make me laugh, make me just get connected, because they're about real people. This is about a real young girl called Malala who lived in Pakistan growing up. She had a very happy life. She came from a family who weren't too poor. They had a relatively decent amount of money and they lived quite happily together. They were a happy, healthy family. She had her and her younger brother and her mother and father, and they were all a good family and they enjoyed their time together. And she went to school, and she went to a school that her father had actually built, because her father had many different schools that he set up and worked in and did good work for. And then the Taliban came to Pakistan and really started making a big showing in Pakistan and swaying politics there and changing things in a very, very negative way for a lot of the people living there, and also for the rest of the world, with bombings and various other nasty things going on. So the Taliban is a terrorist organisation. They were very active and there was a lot of nasty stuff happening with them, and Malala was shot by the Taliban, as in physically shot with a gun in her head by the Taliban, for going to school and for believing in education for women and girls. Now, she was an ordinary young girl. She was a happy family kind of girl, but she was ordinary. She wasn't anyone special. She wasn't a celebrity. She wasn't anyone different or anything out of the ordinary. She was just herself, and she just wanted to go to school and enjoy herself and learn, because she knew that learning and knowledge gave you something to go forward in the world, something to kind of start you on a journey of discovery, of learning, of being something better. And so she wanted to learn. She was passionate about learning. She knew that it was something that she really enjoyed and her friends really enjoyed, and she didn't see a problem with it. When the Taliban came into power, they decided that they did not want females and girls going to school and learning, because they didn't want them to be smart. They didn't want them to understand things. They didn't want them to have the power to fight back and speak for themselves and stand up on their own 2 feet. They wanted to be able to control women. That's what they believed in. They believed that women were second-rate and they should be in the household and they should care for the husband, and very traditional viewpoints. And they decided that the best way to kind of counteract women rebelling was by not letting them go to school. And obviously, Malala's family were worried about Malala going to school and continuing her school life, but she did, and they supported that because they've always believed in education for all of their children, male or female. And it was fascinating to see what she did and how she just carried on, and more horrible things are happening in her world, and more nasty things are being said about the Taliban and about general people who still go to school. There's nasty bombings and shootings happening at various other schools quite close to where they are, but they continue to go to school because they believe in it and it's something they want and they are passionate about. For me, this book was hard-hitting. It was really emotional because education is something that we are entitled to in the UK. Whether you're female or male, it doesn't matter. Really does not matter what sex you are or what you identify as or who you are. You're entitled to an education in the UK if you're a UK citizen. And it's just really hard for me to get under the skin of someone who, it's not a right in Pakistan for females to go to school. It's not a right for people there to just be expected to. It's a privilege in some places, and particularly at this time period, it's definitely was a privilege in 2012. And Malala, she knew how to stand up for herself. She was a young woman who was already developing really great skills in speaking publicly and in kind of standing up for her viewpoints and putting her thoughts across really well. And then she was shot by the Taliban. They shot her because she was gaining power. She was starting to get a following. She was starting to make people think, maybe this is not how we should behave. The Taliban should not control us. We should be able to go to school. There's no logic for them not to. And I just found this really, really inspiring. Her message was, it doesn't matter what's coming towards you. It doesn't matter how horrible people can be. You've got to believe in and you've got to stand up for what you want. And if you don't, then you won't get it, and you won't get anywhere, and you'll be suppressed, and you'll be held back from what you could have been. And she fights for that, and because of that she gets shot, and she gets transferred out of Pakistan, and she can't go back currently, and she is a world famous figure right now for what she did. However, all she wanted was to go to school, and that's the hard-hitting thing about this, is she just wanted to go to school. That's all she wanted, to go to school. Why should you be shot for going to school? I do not understand. There is no logic to that for me. Absolutely none. But this book emotionally hit me, even knowing what it was about before I went into it, because I did know that she was shot and she was talking about education. That's all I kind of knew. Even knowing all that, it was emotional. And I learned a lot from this book. I learned a lot about Pakistan generally, what it was like to live day to day there. Not just the nasty terrorist stuff that a lot of people seem to know, just day to day, what is it like to live in Pakistan? And I think this story had all of that. The other thing it had was pictures. So we have pictures of her from when she was young and when she went to school and various different events in her life. And I really, really enjoyed hearing all about her life in Pakistan and how it was day to day particularly. I think it's a definite eye-opener for some people who maybe have misconceptions of the people who live in Pakistan. Not everyone in Pakistan is a terrorist. I don't know why people seem to believe this sometimes, but it's definitely not true. And this is the story that proves that, because this is a young woman who just wanted one thing, stood up for it and got shot by a terrorist. But there were a lot of people behind her. There were a lot of people who believed what she believed and who wanted fair and equal rights for men and women and boys and girls and education and all of those things. And I think her story just proves how many people, not only in Pakistan but in the world, are behind Malala and the message that she brings. Malala does have a fund which is called the Malala Fund. I will link it down below if you are interested in going and looking up her charity and possibly supporting it. I did donate to it because I think it's a fantastic cause. Education is something I strongly believe in. It's something that has always been a blessing and a passion for me because I love learning. I always have, and I've always done well at school and been happy there, and it's something that I've always enjoyed. I've been very lucky with my education so far, so I believe in it 100%, and I have already supported the charity, and I think I will continue to do so over the years. And I just think it's an emotional rollercoaster of a book, but I came away not disheartened from this book, but feeling empowered and feeling inspired, and I think that is the real thing to take away from this story. Is she is an inspirational young woman who is younger than me. It's crazy, but she has done some phenomenal things, and she continues to do phenomenal things to this day outside of Pakistan, and I would recommend this 100%. I was crying, I was emotional, it was fantastic, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, and I would love to hear if you guys have either read this book or if you've read anything similar, or if you've read any non-fiction books that you think I would enjoy that are kind of in the same vein. Let me know, because I find it really hard to find non-fiction, but I usually really enjoy memoirs if they're interesting, so do let me know your recommendations down below, please, please, please. Thank you all so much for watching. Please go and read this if you haven't, because it's fantastic, and it will be a super quick read for you too. I whizzed through it and I loved it, so 5 out of 5 stars from me. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.